This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved. I don't know why I say what's your language. I got my maturity thing on. In any case, hello everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back. Everybody's really excited to see what sort of pet Captain Kangaroo's got this week. I think cat, dog, llama, we have no idea what he's going to be holding up throughout the session tonight. Welcome, it's lovely to see you all, and we're coming to the end of I think this is part 7. I think so. It might be part 8, but I think it's part 7, and I feel that we're near the end. But what that normally means is that I feel that we're near the end and it lasts another 3 sessions or something like that. But I feel that we're coming to an end of this adventure with some quite. The only thing I'm going to say is that the what's the word? What's the word when you expect something but it doesn't happen?
Spanish Inquisition.
The Spanish, yeah.
No one expects Spanish Inquisition.
Ah, so good. Oh, I'm so angry. That was so good.
I think the unpredictability or the predictability. There's still plenty more to actually happen, and hopefully there'll be some faces every now and again as we continue throughout the session.
When we all
YouTube,
roll
on
99s and 100s on every roll.
Now, just to remind you, if I could predict a few dice rolls today, that would be fantastic. Just to remind you that the clocks in the UK go forward tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. So when we get to 1 a.m., it suddenly jumped to 2 a.m. and I'm always interested about people who work the night shift. Do they actually get 1 hour less pay because they've worked 1 less hour?
We tried this thing in nightclubs years ago, where you'd go to a nightclub that closed at whatever time, and we did it in like the fall.
So it's amazing then.
You get an extra hour.
You get an extra hour of party.
Yeah.
But just the same, if you're working, I think a night shift when the clocks are going back an hour must be awful, because you sort of get halfway.
Due to finish. Bollocks.
Yeah, exactly. It just goes back an hour. But I just sort of, and I think it's really interesting because when I was growing up, you had to change all your clocks. Now you just wake up and everything has automatically changed.
That reminds me, I need to change my watch.
Yeah,
I've still got a normal watch. I don't have a fancy watch.
Oh.
So I use that as my life. It's my lifeline at school. So I need to make sure I change that.
Well, I don't change my.
Analog.
I don't change my car Medivac.
No, I don't. I'm the same.
Yeah.
So for the next 6 months, it'll be right.
Yeah, exactly.
I Honestly, I'm just happy you guys are joining the rest of the world in daylight savings time. Welcome to the correct time.
You just have to do it. You just have to do it a little bit earlier, don't you? Before I let everybody introduce themselves, I was just interested. What time zone is Mr. Pickles and Captain Kangaroo in?
I'm in a Pacific Standard, or Pickle Standard, if you will.
Is that is that PST?
Yes, West Coast.
Right, because it's interesting that a lot of the Mythras interviews that I do for the podcast, they're EDT.
Eastern.
I think they have Eastern Standard Time for like the East Coast.
EST,
Yeah. And so they're sort of like it's 11 minutes past 9 here, and it's 11 minutes past 3 in the afternoon there. Is it 11 minutes past midday where you are then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're 11
11.
minutes past 7. They're what? They're 3. There's 3 hour difference. God.
Yeah. So what's it?
So Central Time will be it should be 11 o'clock then, wouldn't it?
So you're behind us 7 hours. Is that right?
Today we are.
Yeah, normally we're playing at 11 a.m. with you.
Yeah.
Pacific time, US and Canada.
So this usually an 8-hour difference, but today it's 7 until tomorrow.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Let me just see. I'm so interested in getting my time. Yeah, so it says it's 11 minutes past 12 there. Excellent. I've got all 3 of them now, so I can keep track. Thank you for the follow, Floppy. It's lovely to see you, and I really enjoy watching you play not Dungeons and Dragons, World of Warcraft. Very nice. On a Mac. I think she plays it on a Mac. And I didn't even realise it worked on a Mac, to be honest with you.
Anything works on a Mac.
Can be some fighting words.
Oh.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Medivac. By the way,
I must.
Yeah, usually you guys are on an 8-hour difference, so that when we're taking shots with you guys, it's a little more depressing on our end because it's only 11 a.m.
Yeah, can I just say that Saturday's a really nice day. Just enjoy it. It's a really good day. We've had it, and it's come to an end here. But
you've now got our leftovers.
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
You just got what's left. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Leftovers. Yeah. Okay, let's get on because we got a packed session. Let's start off with some wonderful introductions. I'm going to allow the players an opportunity to tell you who they are, but more importantly, who they will be playing in today's session. And we go straight over to Mr. Pickles.
I am Mr. Pickles, and I play Bartleby Fumus, which is our team's theist. He serves Amriel, the Light Moon Goddess. He's our healer, helper, enthusiast about history and monsters. If anybody ever needs information about a lot of parts of the lower end of the city, Bartleby's very, very much growing to be an expert on those kinds of things. He has a past of wanting to be a bard, but his hands were disfigured, and now he's a priest. So he's helping people the best he can, and trying to solve problems, stop evil from happening. He's not really much of a fighter. In fact, he can't really do any damage reliably. I've done negative damage in the past, but he means well, and he's there to help, and I will throw the microphone on over to Captain Kangaroo.
Usually I'm last. Hey everybody, I'm Captain Kangaroo. Today I'm playing Cyrus alias. He's the nice guy of the group. He's really has his head on his shoulders. I think it's what everyone's kind of figured out with him. He's honestly the go-to guy when everyone wants to figure out how do we solve an issue, and everyone comes together to really listen to his advice and how he approaches people.
Fantastic social skills.
Fantastic socials.
Off the scale.
Yeah, he's also very renowned for his sorcery abilities and his fighting abilities. And if anyone stands next to him, they think, wow, this guy is just a regular average person that definitely no one looks down upon. And that's what matters the most, From there, I'm going to pass the mic to Medivac.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm Medivac, and I play Hasra Khan, and people don't look at Hasra because they can't see him because he's hidden. He's the go-to tracker, forager, hunter. He loves being out in the wilderness. There's nothing better than going through a forest and blending in and being one with nature. He's a member of the Brotherhood, which is a group of, well, it's a very secretive group that keeps track of changes and how people and things affect various areas, biomes, nature, and they try to maintain a delicate balance with this. So you'll see, you won't see them, but occasionally you'll see people taking notes and looking around, and you'll find strange stories of things that have happened to me. And you won't really think about it, but all of a sudden there'll be like everything will come together in a balance, and that's how they work. He hates being in cities, but he does put up with it for his fellow members of this group, and he also likes going to the Hairy Hobgoblin and seeing Basil because he takes his meat to eat there. He likes to use a short spear and a scimitar, and he's a very loyal person, is the other thing I will say. And with that, I shall pass on to Longshanks EPG, unless you did already while I was away.
Right, thank you very much, Medivac. Hi guys, my name is Longshanks EPG, and tonight, as always, I am playing the famous warrior, or maybe not quite famous warrior, Hengist. He's trying to get there. He's doing his best. He's slaying all the big bad nasty things. He's slaying a Zuktuk on single-handedly. He's single-handedly taken out a whole gang of miscreants and muggers in the city of Lindo not so long ago. I mean, depending on which story you hear, it might have been 8, it might have been 12, or it might have been 20. We don't know. He's taken out a weird hairy man minotaur thing in Count Bastian's palace ages ago.
Oh, yeah.
He's slain many goblins of various types, such as river goblins and tree goblins and forest goblins and sea goblins, mountain goblins and creepy crawly goblins that actually are a giant bug centipede thing. He's just a warrior. He will fight everything that needs fighting. Man of few words, but when he does talk, nobody bothers to listen to him because he doesn't talk very often. He is, however, being very uncharismatic, trying to get more actively involved in the politics of the noble house that he's actually currently part of, which is the Noble House Galot. Now, the Noble House Galot fulfills the same sort of things and ideals that, or it used to, or it kind of does, that Hengist has, which is acting nobly, acting honorably, looking after the poor and the weak and the defenseless, and those sorts of things. So sometimes most of the time his aims align very nicely with Bartleby, who's, I believe, trying to reform at the Church of Amriel in Lindo.
A bit harsh.
He's got many other things up his sleeve. He fights with heavy armor, hand and a half sword, which he can do some pretty hefty damage with. He has been known, and he has also been nicknamed the Limb Severer, and the De-Legger, and the De-Armor, and the De-Frocker, and all sorts of things like that. At least according to the bard Felix, who roams around Lindo singing tales of Hengist. How much of that is true, who knows? And with that, I'll pass it on to our glorious GM Inwills, who seems rather shocked and disgusted at the lies and the tales of Hengist.
Is Felix the bard that you pay?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I just wanted to be clear on that point, that you pay a bard to sing nice things,
to sing stories about me, to make me famous,
which is absolutely.
He's got a fame skill of 29 in Lindo, which is so about a third of people know about it.
It's definitely worth the money, I tell you. With 29%, it's absolutely fantastic. Okay, yeah, some really interesting perception of characters. I really like it. I really like it how you're very creative in your introduction. Is there something really wrong about the Church of Amriel? I always thought it was quite
I'm just trying to be the example I think Amriel wants me to be, and if there are other priests that are maybe poor examples of what a priest should be,
Wait, sorry. Are you a priest?
They're corrupt. And he's not a priest. Hence not saying they're corrupt.
Bring up hurtful
Very
things
true.
right now.
You're pretty much like an altar boy who stays a little too long.
An altar
No,
boy.
I'm like a
altar boy,
senator altar
full of
boy.
it.
Oh wait, yeah.
I've been held back a couple of years.
Yes, can we all please can we all please make sure we use our correct titles throughout? What is Cyrus in the order?
A very powerful battle wizard.
Grand Magi. What's it?
I was trying to remember what
His Excellency. I can't. God, it's tough. It's tough to remember.
Overlord.
are you an initiate yet, or are you still a
How do
layperson?
you spell it?
I'm definitely an initiate
Let's have
of
a
magic.
I'm an initiate. One
I don't
step
know what
above a
ranking this
layperson.
you
I
either
forgot.
Cyrus is either a novice or an apprentice.
I think apprentice. I think makes sense. Yeah.
Have you gone up one level?
I have to look at it, but I think so. I think I was able to get my. Hold on. Where are you?
I think you're
Able to get 4 of them up
yeah. It's quite.
in
It's
the meantime.
yeah. You need you must have at least 5 of the cult skills at 50% or more.
Yeah.
To be, and I think Bartleby's about to go into the realms of being an acolyte.
Yeah, I need to spend a little bit more time, I think, because I have all the skills and requirements, but I have to do something to prove my value to the church.
Yes, and I've got that all lined up ready. So yeah, we're at part 7 of this adventure, which is quite a long series of adventures. I tried to make them about 4, which is nice, but this one's been going on for a while. Just out of interest, I haven't planned anymore. It's just that we're taking our time. We're taking a leisurely stroll, or for American people, a leisurely stroll.
That's like I didn't know what that was. What you said.
Yeah, that's what I would translate as I go across.
I didn't know you spoke American in
I
Wales.
know.
Yeah.
I'm harshly disappointed in you.
I'm bilingual. I'm bilingual.
Ooh.
You know, we have semicircles and semicircles. And
One more Americanism out of you, Windwills, and that's it.
that's it.
You're able to spell color
Is
with
it
an
like-
O and an OU. Is that what you're trying to say?
I can flip between.
Ooh.
Is that a bit like aluminum foil?
Aluminium foil. Yeah,
So
Because cap.
let me give a brief synopsis, and I will try to make it as brief as I possibly can. Okay, then. So the party returned, and the Sniffling Boar was a new tavern that was outdoing the party's favourite tavern, the Hairy Hobgoblin. The party decided that they would do something about this and infiltrated, and I'm going to use that word because I don't think it was just walking. I think there was some magic and some hiding involved. Infiltrated the Sniffling Boar, where they found that the tavern, although they thought was being run by the head of the Thieves Guild, Sniffer, which they have had some encounters with before, ended up that it's not run by Sniffer at all. It is run by a person called Kristoff, who is extremely charismatic and seems to be a very likable, friendly person. The party, he met with Hengist and Bartleby, and actually said that he was sad to see the Hairy Hobgoblin going into demise, and he diverted a whole load of his clientele either across there or back to there in order to bring about the resurrection of the Hairy Hobgoblin. At that meeting, Bartleby found out that, and Hengist found out that Kristoff is a member of the noble family line and is well established, even to the fact that he is going out, or seems to be accompanying, Harmony Lee, who is currently the leader of the House of Galot after her husband had a very unfortunate demise.
Hengist had nothing to do with that, can I just point out?
While Hengist was protecting him, but we'll move on quickly. Harmony Lee nearly died but all of a sudden has remarkably become a lot better. And the party seemed to be very happy with everything that's going on. Hasra got betrayed. He was hiding down by the sewers, and somebody had actually told some henchmen that he was there. Cyrus met some sailors and found out that he actually has a brother who is on the high seas at the moment, or virtually a twin, it would seem. And the party seemed to be coming to the end. However, one evening or one morning, they were all they all had a nightmare in which they fought Kristoff and died, one after another. And as they died, they woke up from the nightmare that they had been experiencing, in the sense that Bartleby tried to call down Amriel, his goddess's power, and it failed, or could not beat Kristoff at all. Limbs were severed, necks were pulled off, and the party awoke very much worried. And that is when they came to the conclusion, or found out, that there was a being haunting Lindo called a Dream Stalker. Basically, a Dream Stalker infiltrates people's dreams and feeds off the negative emotions that occur in nightmares. So the party spent last adventure doing a whole lot of legwork and really gain an understanding of the Dream Stalker, where it could be, what is it all about. And as they finished last week's adventure, they came down into the pathway that is the main road between Sniffling Boar and the Hairy Hobgoblin, and got besotted or nearly attacked by a wild woman who Hengist took down, pinned down, and they restrained her. And that was where I think we left it. Was that correct? Yeah, brilliant. Okay then. So just to let you know, we're going to pick up exactly from that point. So luck points will be rekindled, so you'll have maximum luck. We'll see if we can drain any of that away. However, Cyrus and Bartleby, you will not have regained any spell points from when we stopped last time. So if you were up to maximum, then that's fine, but if not, that's where we are at. I think Cyrus had done some shove spells, so his would be down slightly. And
I did Witch Sight.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah, that is correct. I don't like the name of that spell, Witch Sight. It has connotations.
Can I name it something else?
You can name it whatever you wish. I just think it's got really bad connotations when you say witch sight. I'm all for favour of somebody in from a YouTube video that I'd made said, I noticed Bartleby uses magic points to power his miracles in the game, and you don't. You actually power magic points to do your folk magic, which we class as prayers, and that's where that was nice. Okay then, so Hengist, are you still astride this woman?
So Hengist, yeah, so Hengist has wrestled this woman to the ground because she was coming at, she ran out the house waving this carving knife,
yeah,
butcher's knife or whatever it was, cleaver, around, and Hengist jumped into action to protect the party and any bystanders, and also the old lady from getting skewered by the guards or someone else in the party maybe, and he knocked her to the ground, and he's holding that. He is going to try, and he's got her in a grapple. He's going to try and force her to drop the knife from her hand, so he's going to grapple her and try and make her lose control of the knife and let go of it.
Okay. Does anybody else want to... Hasra, you dived out the way and now stood back up. Cyrus, you had done your shove spell. Bartleby, you had done Witch Sight and found no traces of magic over her. While Hengist is wrestling with this old lady, is there anything that Hasra, Cyrus or Bartleby would like to do?
Well, I was literally going to be just keeping a lookout.
Have you changed your mic, Hasra?
Well, Lisa has been messing with my desk, so is it really quiet or is it really...
No, it's...
Echo.
Yeah, it sounds as if you're in a room. And it sounds as if, sometimes you're using your webcam mic rather than your real mic. That's what it sounds like.
I tell you what, because I'm sure she might have caught something which, I'll mute myself to have a look.
Yeah, by all means. Cyrus, is there anything that you would like to do? You're muted, by the way.
Cyrus is muted.
Sorry, I thought I pressed the thing. Anyways, I'm gonna help Hengist kind of grapple her down and maybe try to get her out of sight so that we're not causing commotion.
Okay, yeah. So you can head on in there. Bartleby, is there anything you would like to do?
Yes. I would like to say a prayer that'll help the situation. I think you know what it is.
Yeah.
Here's my roll. Pow. That is a success.
Fantastic. You suddenly went really loud then in my ears.
Oh.
Once you'd done your roll, I just thought it might just be me. Let me just... because I hate it when Zoom messes about with my volumes. It really just bugs me. That looks all right. Yeah, so let's see your roll. Let's see what you do. So that's on her, isn't it? She'll have a resist roll, which I think is willpower.
Against my 23, I think.
She gets a 63, so she doesn't manage to, she doesn't resist at all. And Hengist and Cyrus, you sort of like see her started to relax somewhat. She's losing that madness from her eyes, but her face is very pale, very drawn. Her eyes are sunken in. Her hair is all greasy and matted. It looks like basically she probably hasn't slept for a few days and is really sort of like your conclusion is maybe the Dream Stalker has had its effect on this woman, very similar to what Sylvester's talked about in the past when you went to visit him, and the idea that this Dream Stalker is actually, making people go mad, and that's what's actually happening.
All right. I'll help kind of like pull her in and see if I can help calm her down. So this is what's pretty much going to start happening if we don't figure this out. I tell the rest.
So just to let you know, Hengist, old woman, and Cyrus, you seem to be in some kind of shop. You're in the front area. It seems to be selling cloth and silks and things like that. You don't, Hengist, do you have a commerce skill? No. Bartleby, roll your commerce skill. I don't think you have one, Cyrus. I think you used to be Bartleby and Gulliver that had them.
Hold on. Actually, I might actually have a scummer skill.
I'll lean my head in, though. I guess
Let me
that's...
just look really quick.
It'd be
No, I do not. Oh, I do have a commerce skill. It's a professional skill. It's one of my skills.
Yeah, brilliant. You roll it as well. Roll that as well.
No.
So Bartleby, obviously Cyrus is down trying to extract the meat cleaver from the woman, which you both, Hengist and Cyrus, you managed to do this quite effectively. Once Bartleby's spell has calmed her down, she loosens the grip on it. And the first thing that Bartleby, looking around, you notice that it's not the best clothier's shop. There's not lovely silk there. There seems to be dyed linen or dyed hessian, and it seems to be a very low end. It's nothing that Hengist would be used to at all. It seems to be, the whole room seems very much as if it's been closed for a while. The things are all over the place. It doesn't look very nice at all, and there's that smell of dankness and staleness as if not a single window has been open for some time. You can see that there's a door out in the back that obviously has some kind of sleeping area and cooking area in, and the door has obviously been bashed open, and you think she's probably come from there through here then straight out into the street. Is there anything you would like to do?
Can't really do anything. The only thing we can do is maybe bring her back to where she came from, up further inside, and tie her up.
Do you know?
She's calm now.
I don't think so. She's calm now.
I don't trust her. I don't trust her.
I really thought Cyrus was being nice then, and I'll carry.
Hengist will,
So we don't have to deal with her
ladies.
Adam anymore. I don't.
She'll die of starvation.
We'll probably remember to come back. One of us. No. Okay. Obviously, that was not the plan.
Hengist, you can pick her up if you wish.
No, Hengist is
Oh,
gonna,
please. You do so well
I have a habit
picking
of dropping
people.
When Hengist has a habit of dropping people. Oh no, probably because she's not important. That she won't drop her. No, Hengist, seeing the old lady's karma, is going to carefully sort of like let go and step away.
Yeah, and once she's once she's released, she almost like curls up into some kind of fetus position, and you hear her muttering things like a bit like out of Frank Herbert's Dune, when she's sort of like saying, "Get out of my head," if you know the film and the books, and she seems to be rocking and telling people to go away, saying, "Leave me alone." Could you make a perception check? Hasra, are you back with us? If you are, I can't hear you at all. Okay.
Sorry, is that me? Sorry.
Oh, yes. Are you back with us? Yeah, brilliant.
I am back with you. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, then. Do you want to stay outside, or do you want to go in the room with everybody else?
You wanted a perception check. I got a 3 point.
Yay! I'm going to stay outside, and I'm going to move. I want to cover this doorway.
Yeah.
But also keep an eye out for anybody sort of like go this wall here.
Yeah.
And
cool.
sort of there, so I can see down this way and down this way.
Yeah. Okay then. So Hengist has fumbled his perception look. So
As Hengist steps back, his helmet slips over his eyes.
yeah.
He didn't tie it up properly this morning.
he's looking at the linen. That he's just looking at a nice fabric on the
that's
wall.
nice fabric. That would be nice on my
Bartleby
kitchen
has
wall.
got his, and we're just waiting. Cyrus, can you do a perception roll as well, please?
Oh, my bad. I thought it was just Hengist. There you are, and bam.
Oh, brilliant. So Bartleby and Cyrus, you hear coming from the back of the room a rather small voice. It's obviously somebody who's young. It's quite high pitched. You're not too sure whether or not it's a boy or a girl's voice at this distance, but you can definitely hear that it's a very inquiring voice and almost like pleading voice, and all it seems to be doing is saying, "Mummy, Mummy, I've had a bad dream, Mummy."
Damn it, children. All right.
So who's the best with children?
Bartleby, can you go?
Yeah, it's probably me.
Yeah.
Hasra would probably try and eat it.
Well, modern day parents use
Long
Calpol.
pig.
Modern day
parents use what?
Calpol. It's
Bad dreams.
It's like a cough mixture or a paracetamol based meds.
It's like NyQuil.
Yeah,
Oh, so essentially
very nice.
you're drugging your kids.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
Bartleby
yeah.
doesn't drug. He just sort of like casts calm on them. No.
Which is essentially like a drug. It's just like a magical drug.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Get them
kind of
drunk on
cosmeting
Amriel.
everyone, aren't you, Bartleby? Anyways,
Okay, first off, Amriel isn't a drug, so drop that. then.
Oh,
Well, the amount you talk about her.
Amriel is a drug and I'm addicted, baby.
I have a fever. The only prescription is more Amaryl.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, I'll go and I'm gonna try and calm down this kid by normal means.
normal means rather than spell
What's that mean?
casting.
I was hoping perhaps my influence ability to say something like calm down, child. It'll be all right. I'm a priest of Amriel, and we're taking care of everything.
Not to listen to priests of everything.
Yeah. Are you a
Share
bad?
the old gods.
Stranger danger.
Are you a good priest or a bad priest?
Priest? On your name tag it says priest, is that right?
Yeah.
I'm a priest of Amriel.
How was that scene from Airplane?
Maybe a
when they're
follower
walking down
of
and
Amriel?
So you go around the corner and there's a couple of beds there, and there's obviously some kind of accommodation in the back of the shop, and there's a young girl there who's sort of like sat on her bed and with wrapping her arms around her knees, sat up down at the back, the top of the bed, leaning up against the wall. Yeah, so let's see how calming you are. Roll your influence.
Okay, this is
Do
better,
you
better
just-
not scream at her.
Do you have gloves on before she sees your hands? I just sort of like feel it. Come here, little.
I don't think I do. Because the armor that Bartleby wears is like natural furs and whatnot, so he probably doesn't have fur mittens
Oh
on.
No.
So he's a furry man with creepy hands.
Yeah, he looks a bit like a werewolf. I'm thinking, roll it. Roll your influence. Go for it.
Influence.
Yes, and what I'm going to say is that she actually recognises you, and her mom's quite a church-going parent, and they've been along to your main ceremonies, main festival services, and she doesn't know what your name is or anything else, but she recognises your attire and that you are somebody connected with the church. And her mom always said, people from the church are nice people and they're there to help you. And she sort of like looks at you, and she looks pretty drawn as well and pale, and she sort of like looks up at you with those big puppy dog eyes and sort of like says, "Where's my mummy? I want my mummy."
We're helping your mom out right now. Don't worry, she'll be fine.
"Is she poorly? Why are you helping her? She was so mad at me."
Yes, well, your mom is poorly right now, but we are helping her. We're making it right, as the Church of Amriel does.
"Does she need a healer?"
I think so, but thankfully, that's me.
"Shouldn't you be with her then rather than with me?"
I just wanted to make sure you know that things are going to be all right before I help your mother.
And she sort of like scoots along the bed and sort of like slides off the bed. It's not a very high bed, and she sort of like stands up next to you, and as she does that, she sort of like looks up to you, and she sort of like holds out a hand.
As if to grab my hand.
As if she wants you to hold her hand, yeah?
I guess Bartleby probably would try and comfort her by holding her hand if that's what her request
Yeah, and
is.
she sort of like, you sort of like reach out your hand and she takes it and says, "Your hands feel funny."
Yeah, they really do.
Soft
really
and delicate
do.
like a woman's.
"I like your furry mittens, they're very nice. Can I see my mummy now?"
That's probably not best. Your mom would want you to be sleeping, wouldn't she?
I can't
rest.
sleep. I have bad nightmares.
Seems that that's going around these days.
Do
But don't
you
worry.
have bad nightmares?
Well, everybody has bad nightmares. We just got to learn to take control during our nightmares and squash whatever's trying to hurt us.
Can you make my nightmares stop? Can you make my mummy's nightmares stop?
I hope so. That's the goal.
Oh, I just want to sleep. I'm so pleased that this is Bartleby and not Cyrus, because I just know that Cyrus would just all like go, "Ka-dong!" Sleep now.
Almost nightmares stop.
Yeah.
Conversation stop.
Hasra, just out on the street, you notice two things from your vantage point up at the top there. The first thing is that there seems to be a regular flow of people going into the Hairy Hobgoblin.
Mm-hmm.
What seems to be slightly unusual is that they come to the bottom line, and if you remember, there were two lines going into the Sniffling Boar.
Yeah.
And if any come to the bottom line, the bouncers sort of like, you can just see them from the back, and they're sort of like, you can see their head nodding and then pointing across to the Hairy Hobgoblin. Make me a hard perception check, please.
Certainly. No, I can do an easy one.
Do you wish to look it at all?
Do you know what? Yes, I will. Yeah, because he's keeping a strong eye out. He's looking to see anything unusual. So yes, I will look it. I'll just reverse it. So I'll be a 36
or even a 39.
or a 39. Sorry.
Yeah, so
numbers.
you do notice something, and your keen sense of eyesight notices two things. You probably don't see it being passed, but you see it because the bouncer's back is to you. But you definitely notice that there seems to be an exchange of a small pouch, a small coin bag.
This explains.
And it seems to be that as they go up, the bouncer is sort of like giving them this small pouch and then pointing to the Hairy Hobgoblin. And there seems to be some exchange of words that you can't hear, but you can see that the clientele sort of like nods and agrees, and then clutching their little bag, which sometimes they throw up or weigh up, and that's when you see it, they go off into the Hairy Hobgoblin. And you notice that bottom line is never there. As soon as anybody comes to join it, there's sort of like this exchange happens and they go over. And what's really interesting, and you do see this because Bartleby's calming the young girl, and Hengist and Cyrus are making sure that the old madwoman are fine. You do see some very interesting things happening in the sense that sometimes people go in, or they sort of like meet somebody going into the Hairy Hobgoblin, and there's an exchange and they point over to the bouncers, and somebody who was just about to go into the Hairy Hobgoblin actually stops, goes across to the other side and lines up.
Yes.
And because the bouncer is looking the other way, because he's involved with the rich and the famous, he sort of like comes back and does the same thing, and reaches into the doorway or into his tailored clothes, and then hands over another bag of money, and they go skipping off to the Hairy Hobgoblin.
Brilliant. Explains the exchange that happened when we had the first customer back at the Hairy Hobgoblin.
Oh, definitely. Now that you think there's definitely a similarity between the coin purse that the bouncer is given and the one that you saw in the Hairy Hobgoblin with the old drunkard regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also, this could also be a great money-making scheme. If we just send random people to the bottom line.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you to send people there, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hasra will take all this on board. He's not going to stop being where he is, because there's nothing harmful happening down there apart from a few drunks getting a bit of extra coinage to spend at Basil's.
Yeah.
Which is more important. But he will be notifying Bartleby, Hengist, and Cyrus about this, because there's got to be something more into why Kristoff is paying people to go and drink instead of just pushing them away. Because they've got their own money to come here. Why is he then paying them to go across the road?
Perhaps he's just a really nice person.
Yeah.
Perhaps he's really doing his best to be nice.
That seems like something Bartleby would probably say out loud.
Yep.
I just feel
He's such a nice person, and he throws great dinner parties.
I just feel no matter what Kristoff do, you're just going to say demon.
Demon.
But
Medivac.
he's brought his woman back to the dead to take over her house. You know, and she's only recently widowed as well, isn't she?
Can I just say at that
Women don't
point,
like being. Some people who have widows or widowers don't like being alone for long.
and the last person to see Harmony Lee was not Kristoff.
That's right. Mr. Bartleby.
No.
No,
Oh, no.
it was a fancy big man priest from Amriel.
Oh, it was,
Bartleby.
wasn't it?
There was no
In
time.
your dream.
There was no time at all during that scenario that that Bartleby and Hengist saw Kristoff at that house.
He
Never.
came through the window, didn't he? Has to be through the window.
So back in the Hengist and Cyrus, is there anything that you would like to do with this old lady? There's obviously a bed in the back that you can carry her or escort her to. Bartleby, you've got this young girl who seems to be rather attached to you now. Seems very scared, etc. What's going to be the general idea that you're going to, or the general plan with these people?
I'll probably ask Hengist to pick her up and put her into her bed for now.
Hengist was thinking. Hengist, that's a good idea. She seems to be lying in a curled up position on the floorboards. It's not.
After that,
comfortable.
we all need to come together and plan out and see who we think the culprit of all this is.
Okay.
And is it worth, researching that and seeing if, we don't want to burn bridges, especially bridges what seems to be the most popular new person in town. But at the same time, if he seems to be the biggest
It's not. It can't be.
Is somebody
not Kristoff.
has somebody possessed Cyrus? If you're going to write on my board, at least write the correct words.
Spell it properly, Medivac.
We can't tell who it is because your colours are exactly the same as next to your names at the bottom.
Hoodwinked again. Oh, I can't remember how to delete now.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and Longshanks has changed his name the same colour. Okay then, sorry.
I'm trying to get Medivac into more trouble.
Hengist, just give me a brawn roll as you pick up this unfortunate woman.
Take a 14.
Yeah, she's quite light. It's actually a very easy roll that you had to do, so you actually critted it on it. And you sort of like pick her up and sort of like take her to the back. What's going to... really? I prefer not to have that on my stream.
Medivac, that's mean. That's mean.
Medivac.
You can change the colour of your pen, can you?
That's mean, Medivac. Why would you do such a thing?
So
By year two.
Wasn't me. Was a one-armed man.
Bartleby, So Hengist brings in the old lady and puts them down on the bed, which is fine. And the young girl is quite happy to stay with her mom. They both look very distraught and almost like they don't look the best. They look a bit malnutritioned and everything, but they're probably fine. They're probably not suffering from any illness or anything like that. Probably just lack of sleep. And that's about it. So is there anything else that you would like to do for them in their room, or is it a case of just leaving them tucked up in bed and that will be it?
I guess I'd reiterate one last time that the Church of Amriel is on this. We'll make things right before leaving.
Yeah, and you can, on the way out, you can close the door if you wish. It's probably can be bolted from the inside, but there's no way for you to actually do this. But actually closing it is probably the safest way to do it. And Cyrus, you mentioned that you would like to get together. Where's that going to be? And is everybody going?
Yeah, it's probably right outside. The kid probably doesn't want to listen to us.
Probably the Hairy Hobgoblin's the safest place.
Yeah, but right now it's being filled with random people laundering money.
Basil will keep our table for us.
Do you want to do it on the street or inside the shop?
We want to around the corner, see if no one's around us.
Okay, round the top corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. We can move. Hasra, are you going to stay on guard out on the street, or are you going round as well?
No, once I see them come out of the house, I will follow them.
Okay.
Find out what's happened.
But probably stay on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so just to let you know, it's a bit like this place here, in the sense that I'm going to put you there just so we can keep you on the map. But that's basically what it's like. It's just so this would be Grandma's house, and this is the next shop, and there's a shop opposite, but it's just not Kristoff's at the moment. His is down there. So sorry, Darth has just said the church has got this. No worries, people. The church knows what's happening. Yeah, and so you all sort of like congregated around this corner. It's about 8 o'clock at night, if you remember. So you know, it's the lights have been lit by the lanterns in the streets have been lit by the town guard. So it's a bit murky and a bit of a chill going through the air, but nothing that hardy adventurers are not completely and utterly used to.
So are we going to the Sniffling Boar then? Because of Kristoff's library, perhaps to find more information on the Dream Stalker?
That's a good idea. He did seem to have quite the collection of books.
Here's
a travel collection, if you will.
Yes, he knows how to read. Whatever. One.
What?
One.
Bartleby writes down what?
This is a skill that I've never needed.
Was that a lion you drew? I don't. Anyways, okay. One, if he is the Night Stalker, why would he allow you to read a book about the Dream Stalker? If he's a Dream Stalker, why would he allow you to read a book about a Dream Stalker? Two, isn't it closed off? Isn't that what you said? It's in a locked door.
We're on. Bartleby and I are on good relations with
the
Kristoff.
possible
I'm
enemy.
sure if we'd asked him, he'd let us look in his library. Especially
I'm certain he
man
offered.
that might be possessing the entire town.
That could be, though. But if he is that person, then him denying us access to his library, which may have materials on such, anybody casting a summoning spell, or however you sorcerers call it, a ritual maybe, he'd have materials on it. And if he denies us access to the library, that means he might be responsible, and you might be right.
Or he's smart enough to realize, oh, that would make me seem guilty, so I'm going to allow them to my library and hide the important books that might actually defeat me.
Well, maybe you should be coming along for this,
Right?
since you have an eye for details, don't you?
Like if I
Perhaps
walk
you
into that
could
place,
help
odds are
Bartleby
I'm
read
gonna
them,
burn the place down.
Cyrus.
Pardon? What'd you say? I didn't hear you say. Damn it. All right.
No, Hengist
Odds are
said,
they don't
you
want
could
me
help
in there.
him read them, Cyrus.
They-
Just so you know, Captain, Hengist assumes because you're a sorcerer, you can read.
So
Really?
just so the viewers know, in Mythras, everybody can talk, but actually literacy, actually being able to read and write, is a professional skill. So people without it, they'll probably know words, very short words, and what they look like in, tailor, or whatever like that, but they really can't read anything significant. And it is very unusual for a sorcerer of Cyrus's standing, not to be literate, in that sense. But obviously it was a professional skill that slipped away somewhere.
True.
Yeah.
May or may not have. Yeah.
One too many Tankard's Vale.
Yeah, I think maybe he knew at one point.
And then forgot.
His 3 brain cells left. Look, you two do what you feel like is gonna work out. I just feel like if he's hiding something, he's not going to allow you to find it, regardless of what terms you guys are on. Hasra and I can figure out something else. We do know there's another way of coming in and out. It has to be a reason why he's getting his commerce through the sewers.
Which is true. And why was I set up? Did they laid an ambush for me last time when I went to the sewers?
Yeah.
Who
paid them?
So, well, yes. How did they know I was going to be there?
Do you know that wasn't Sniffer, not Kristoff?
Odds are, if you're gonna find the right thing in his mysterious room, you're gonna have to go in there without him knowing. Hasra, you've kind of checked the place out. Is there kind of a window or something leading to that room? Maybe we can enter that way.
Well, there must be something in the back of the building, because that's where the clothes are dumped, isn't it? There's a pile of clothes at the back. So where did they come from? These lovely dandy clothes that were strewn about the place.
Yeah, that was out
Hengist
the back
found
of out the back of the kitchen. Hasra, I think, did you go out the back door?
I did actually, yes.
So that.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you went through the kitchen, and there was the trap door there in the kitchen, and then the door outside, and that was the door that you went out. That would have been where Hengist came. And Bartleby and Hengist, I don't know if you remember, but in the room, in the upstairs room, it was completely and utterly enclosed. There was no windows up there at all. And if you also remember the door, and I think you did know this, Cyrus. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Hasra.
I went to the door and I didn't go near it because there's something bad about it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Your amulet pulse.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that sounds familiar. We're gonna have to sneak in some sort, but we also need to plan out how to do that and when to do that. Right now, as busy it is, might be perfect time to come in because everyone's gonna be busy with other things. They're not gonna be able to look at us sneaking around and go upstairs.
Why not just have Bartleby and Hengist go across to see this Kristoff, because you are very friendly with each other, even though he's. Yeah, but anyway, you send them and ask him if you will show him these informations about this dream master thingy stalker, and then perhaps he will show you books about himself. This is me as a baby.
I have one plan.
Oh.
one small little plan. If there's, there's a chance that that Kristoff is the only one with access to that room. Maybe he has a manager that he confides in that might have a key or something. So if you guys see that manager, see the person in charge that you see has a set of keys, give me a heads up, and maybe I can transfer consciousness with that person. Go up there, unlock, maybe kind of help that way. But otherwise, you guys might have to sneak, not sneak in, but infiltrate and act like you guys are just there to talk business.
Do you know?
Maybe kind of.
It's so funny, Cyrus, because the stream knows you so well. Because the first thing is Bunny Box said, "Well, a sorcerer with his stature might be short on words." But
I mean, I just thought he could climb through the keyhole.
But then, just slip him underneath the door. And then she said, "Oh no, plans from Cyrus are dangerous."
They involve burning little girls in
only
wagons.
70% of the time do the buildings catch on fire. Only that's a pretty good average.
You've burnt buildings down.
Just to let you know, Hengist and Bartleby, you actually know who the second in command is.
Yeah.
Harmony
Well,
Lee.
here's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. With this plan and everything, let's say Kristoff is innocent in this entirely. Just assume he's innocent for a moment. It's not going to look good on us breaking into his house or his business, breaking into his private quarters. It's going to make us look like common thieves at best.
That's if we steal things.
Yes, but for instance, with the guards, I know this isn't going to look good for some of us. I just don't think we should be breaking into people's houses until we actually have any evidence. If we had any evidence,
do you have any evidence that it's not someone else?
I'm just saying it's worth a try to be diplomatic first.
I mean,
you be diplomatic. Hasra and I can run around and kind of, look from afar and try to figure out if there's another way in. But
not firing from afar. You mentioned the burning building sound part.
Is Cyrus communicating that there is a connection between Kristoff and the Dream Stalker, or is Cyrus saying that Kristoff is the Dream Stalker?
Okay. Cyrus doesn't entirely know because Cyrus wasn't able to really read things too well, but he knows there has to be a connection. He's new to town. He has all these weird mysteries. I bet you that everyone who has suffered from this was probably a customer of his bar at one point. Maybe.
If we're picking new people to say our threats, then why not Annalyn, the alchemist, who has the magical save me ingredient that he sold us to stop the dream?
Maybe they're working together. That's probably Annalyn works over there.
I mean, we can't just say somebody's new and that makes them
helpful to us.
Just
really.
In the past.
Can I just perhaps say, why don't we ask people what they dreamed? Because all four of us, Bartleby, Hengist, Cyrus, we all had the same dream. And it was Kristoff. It was Kristoff tearing out the throat of Harmony Lee and then killing each of us one by one. Now we need to find out what other people dreamed, because it seems very strange that all four of us had the same dream.
Had the same fear. Because we were told that this plays on our fears. It gives us nightmares, and they feed off the fear of our nightmares.
Which is fine, but
if we all had the same theory of him, same fear, it would make sense. But we don't. You guys have different opinions of him.
This is true, because Bartleby and Hengist think that Kristoff is his best friend. And they are like...
And in the dream, was the dream about Kristoff, or was it about your fears?
It would make sense if it was our fears if it was a separate dream, but all our fear isn't Kristoff.
No.
It would make sense that Basil's fear would be Kristoff because Kristoff is ruining his business. But the only people who have a negative impression of him is me and Hasra.
Yes.
These two don't.
But Bartleby's Bartleby's emotion for the dream was not Kristoff. It was that Amriel, when it comes down to it, when he really needs Amriel the most and calls down her power to protect him, what happened? That was his fear, and it just so happened to play out with it. Just to go back to a previous point, just so the old woman and the young girl you don't think they would be somebody who frequents the Sniffling Boar. You know, I forget who was saying that anybody who was in the Sniffling Boar would have had the dream. They definitely
Well, obviously
had
the child wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
The child wouldn't, but I just thought maybe she might, because something across the street. But
she doesn't look the sort of person who would, you know, leave the child without a babysitter or take the child. So are we going into the Sniffling Boar then?
I think it's best that Hengist and I go and do some questioning. Perhaps, Hasra, Cyrus, you can see more, if you can collect more information about the dreams. It would help us to know if...
Maybe, Cyrus, why don't we go to the Hairy Hobgoblin and talk to the people that are in there and see if they had strange dreams last night?
That would be a very suitable place for
just
for Hasra, definitely, because of your sort of like influence skill will be useful on those sorts of people a lot better than the people...
Street folk.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They're much closer to your sort of like social interactions, especially when they're drunk.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
You know. And Cyrus, you can just sort of like, you can take Cyrus with you or just put him in a corner with a tankard.
I put them in my pocket.
Yeah.
Can you maybe ask Basil if there's a daycare?
Yeah, daddy daycare.
Cyrus in your pocket.
Okay then, so we're obviously going in two different directions, which is absolutely fine. So Hasra and Cyrus, you're going to go to the Hairy Hobgoblin, and Bartleby and Hengist, you're going to go to the Sniffling Boar. And what I need to know is what's going to be what are you trying to find out? It sounds to me that Hasra and Cyrus is going down the dream route. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going for questioning, kind of figure out if there's weird similarities between dreams, and they're looking to get information from the possible culprit himself.
So, Bartleby and Hengist, are you going to the Sniffling Boar and to meet Kristoff, or are you going to sort of like circulate and see what the people say first and then decide whether or not you need to see Kristoff?
I was leaning towards going there to see Kristoff. It's a matter of importance, and we hoping to take up his offer to see his library.
Yeah,
and to talk to him.
Okay then. So let's do Hairy Hobgoblin first. And so Cyrus and Hasra, you're in there. Are you staying together or separating out?
We'll stay together.
Stay together.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Okay then. So whoever's got the lowest influence roll can use it to augment the other person's influence roll, since you're working together on it.
So my influence is 49.
Yeah, mine's 43. So just slightly lower. So you can have 9.
So stick that 9 into the temporary.
9%.
Yeah, stick that 9 into the temporary one, and then just roll for me your new influence roll.
Tell me when you're ready. Go. Okay. I'm going to use my luck roll to reverse that.
You know, this Captain, Cyrus seems to be rolling in the 90s consistently.
Yeah, no, roll 20. I obviously haven't killed the right goat for the roll 20.
Yeah. Okay then. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you a spiel of interactions with people, but rather than doing a whole load of different people, I'm sort of like going to just generalize it into one. If there's any questions that you would like to ask the people as we go through, then that's absolutely fine.
my approach was going to be sidling up to somebody with Cyrus and getting a drink and going, "Oh, I had the strangest dream last night," and just building it up from there, basically. So yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing that you get is agreement, and it seems that a lot of people around the table had. They don't refer to it. When you say you had a dream, somebody goes, well, mine wasn't a dream, it was a nightmare, and things like that. They seem, the first thing that they do is really add the intensity that it wasn't a dream, it was something quite horrific. And they describe that they woke up screaming, the bed sheets were wet, heartbeat was racing. There are some people who didn't have the dream. Okay, sometimes they refer to their partner in crime, saying things like, I'm surprised she didn't have a dream. It's more like a nightmare sleeping next to her every night, and everybody sort of like laughs at it and so forth and so on. And some of them sort of like say, well, I had no dream. Like, I can't remember dreaming, but come to think of it, I can't even remember walking home last night. And there seemed to be this group of people who maybe in a comatose or catatonic state that seem to be almost like dead to the world, and they seem to be in a very deep slumber when they don't experience anything at all. Darth has this cheered 300 bitties. Which means, first of all, I need to get my sheet of paper out now because I don't normally have it out with what it means. So, would you like to give that to someone, Darth? Is there a certain person that you would like to do it to? Or I am more than happy for you just to say it's there for the group and they can use it. Anybody can use it if and when they want to. So it's completely up to you which way round you would like to do it. Let me know. He's going to give it to Cyrus for a roll to automatically succeed. Okay? So you can either use it for the influence roll that you've just done and get a luck point back, because there might have been a delay. Okay, yeah, he says, I feel we will need it, seeing that he used his luck point. So Darth thinks you'll probably need your luck point later on. So have your luck point back, Cyrus, and then that kind donation of Darth means that your roll is... So in a matter of fact, you've just gained a luck point. Which is very, very pleasing. When you ask, do you want to probe any deeper about these people, like the women that didn't have the dream?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so what they actually say, there seems to be a real connection to Annalyn here, the alchemist. And they say things like, oh, well, ever since she's been taking that potion, that elixir from Annalyn, she's dead to the world. Even though I give her a big poke, she doesn't wake up at all. It's ruining our life altogether. It's just sort of like never there. Oh, Mr. Pickles has just left roll 20. Was it something we said?
I just saw Mr. Pickles panic and get really angry at his computer.
No, it's fine. We're all fine.
And Hasra and Cyrus, there seems to be a connection. All these people who didn't dream seem to be, they refer to Annalyn's elixir. And I think this is the elixir that Bartleby and Hengist found out that Annalyn was giving people, which seems to be some kind of a sleeping draught. If you remember, it's in a powder form and you sprinkle it into your favourite drink and consume it. And it gives you peaceful, it puts you into almost like a deep sleep. If you remember, Sylvester had it as well. And it seems that in the conversation, people are referring to it, that they don't refer to it the same. They say things like, oh, maybe I should get something that makes my wife sleep since she's been to Annalyn, or I wonder if Annalyn can make me sleep that way. The other thing that you do notice, and this is just, I'm going to give you this because of the donation. I'm going to give you a little bit extra information that you wouldn't normally have. So this is purely because of that donation. Two things. Number one, there seems anybody who was out of the town, of the city walls, Hasra, your country folk, people that you know from out about, they had no nightmares at all and did not consume Annalyn's potion. Okay? It seems that it's actually confined to the city wall.
Localized.
Yeah, but the piece of information that you get extra due to the donation is it's even more localized than that. There almost seems to be an epicenter round the Hairy Hobgoblin and the Sniffling Boar. As you move further and further away from it, and if you remember, you were actually staying in the...
We were in the Hairy Hobgoblin.
Yes.
Cap and me. Yeah.
And there's this strange thing that a lot of people sort of say, who maybe are coming up here from the slums, they talk about it, but they say, oh no, I'm not afraid of nightmares. Nightmares don't bother me that much. Now and again I had a faintest dream, but I can't really remember anything of there. And it seems that the more and more you sort of say, so whereabouts, is it a nice place where you live? Oh yeah, I live down in the slums, not nice, I would say. And you sort of build up this jovial discussion. And it's only from Cyrus, Lindo, and Hasra, Lindo as well. You sort of think, hang on a minute, it seems that people who are further away, outside the city walls, nothing. Inside the city walls, there definitely seems to be a scaled approach. And the closer and closer you get to the epicenter, which seems to be around this general area, the more intense the dreams get. The more intense. A little bit further away, they were scary, but not super scary. The other thing that you will find out, this is not from the roll, that was from the roll, but this is just from your own roll, is that they've seemed to have been getting worse just over the last couple of days. There's been a real intensity of them developing over the last couple of days. Beforehand, there seemed to be maybe some people used to have the odd nightmare or so, but the intensity, and there's a lot of talk of the men and the women sort of saying, so where can we get this sleeping powder from Annalyn? Is it cheap? So forth and so on. Darth says, hello, Mr. Pickle's cat. I think it's Mulberry. Is that right? Yeah. And
I'm always really distracted by Mulberry whenever Mulberry enters the camera frame and just sit there staring at her.
So there seems to be this weird connection that, and I think, Cyrus, you pick it up more because of your general dislike of Annalyn and the alchemist, and you
well, that's where I'm gonna start. Just my additional question would be, how recent has he been giving these people this elixir?
Yeah, and
if it's something within the last week, or something months that they've been using for months.
And from what they're saying, it seemed to have been happening for a while, because they're saying things like ever since they gave that my wife got that sleeping elixir for Annalyn. She, you know, I can poke her as hard as I want during the night and she never wakes up. You know, and it's not sort of like just last night. There seems to be, and there's often a conversation and somebody else says, oh yeah, my missus has that as well. Bane of my life, that is. And so one of the other women, sort of like the barmaid, comes over and sort of says, oh, is there something that you can take that makes you, yeah, just see Annalyn? And you think it hasn't been the last couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a little bit more.
But
So that's not as incriminating as I would hope. If it was like something within the last week.
we have only had one dream, and we've been in this area for days.
Correct.
So there's got. I'm going to have to think about this. There's got to be something linking we haven't drank across at the Sniffling Boar, have we? We've not had a drink there.
Correct.
Maybe
It seemed to
something in the
happen almost
drink?
right. It seemed to happen right when he showed himself, like a day or two after he what's his face revealed himself from the come downstairs with Armin Lee. I think Annalyn. I don't know if he's involved, but he definitely might know. And he's taking
Maybe he's
the
been
economic
making,
advantage.
well, no, maybe he's been making these potions to protect people. Maybe
Could
he
be,
knew
but
what was going on.
If that was the
And he's-
case, he wouldn't be selling them. He would be.
Oh no! Andy would sell them. Maybe not for a huge amount of money, but he would still sell them to make. I mean, he would have to regain his cost to make these powder anyway.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm pretty confident he's still very much for profit right now.
Oh, Annalyn, Cyrus, my friend, Annalyn, you were very harsh on him, to be fair, but you are our friend. No, that's just the person he is. I'm not a fan of Annalyn because he lied to us. He tricked us. He lied to us.
That is true.
But he's a businessman.
Yeah, a cheating businessman.
And
He's a businessman.
It's actually it's redundant because businessman and cheater, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, exactly. And that's why I don't like your city folk here, because they just stab you in the back and then leave you out to rot. But no, Annalyn, like I say, is not my most favourite person. We worked with him, and a lot of what he said was not true. But we still came through and we did the job and he paid us. But Annalyn is only looking out for Annalyn, in my eyes.
I think that really does represent Annalyn quite well.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be a nasty. Annalyn doesn't seem to be evil.
He's not nasty. He's just singly-minded, trying to make himself the most richest person in the whole world.
Correct.
.com.
Yeah, he's more of a used car salesman rather than a CEO of an oil company.
Yeah. And he would also see where a profit could be made and exploit a situation. There is no doubt in your mind. And Hasra, Hasra, he sort of seems, although you might disagree with it, he seems very similar to you in the sense that, he is supplying the town with what they need, just as the same as you supply the Hairy Hobgoblin and Basil with what
they need.
They need.
Yeah.
Would Hasra?
The difference is if Hasra knew there was a Dream Stalker type thing around the city, he would tell somebody. He wouldn't make a profit off it.
And that's a very important point. Does Annalyn know there is a Dream Stalker around the city, or
is he just fixing people's dreams?
Exactly. Yeah. And then those are two completely different.
Yeah.
Would Hasra sell his food to in that asked for more? Who gave you more for it than Hairy Hobgoblin?
No, I don't think Hasra would, because Hasra's loyalty is it's more like a family for him. And Basil has always been part of that family because we always use the Hairy Hobgoblin as our meeting point.
That's worth knowing for the future.
Yeah, It's not about the money for Hasra, because what's Hasra done with his money?
Well,
Yeah,
give it to the poor.
give it to the poor.
So we
That's
got a
right.
little bit of information.
You've
and
got a
I
lot of
think-
information.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. So I think we did our part. I think Mr. Pickles and
Okay, so just before
Don't get eaten by a vampire.
Lawnshanks can go.
just before, because it's 1 minute to half
Oh, yeah.
past, so I'll just do this little bit, and then you can we'll have our 10-minute break, and then we can come back. So Bartleby and Hengist, you approach the door of the Sniffling Boar, and the bouncers see you sort of like way in advance of you coming across, and there's actually a young noble couple coming down, trying to get in. Hengist, just roll your your street nobility skill. So this skill for Hengist is a bit like streetwise, but it's you have no idea who they are. No idea who they are.
It's a new skill.
Yeah, not even using a point of luck's going to help you there. And you sort of like come up, and the bouncers see you, and this couple, this man and this woman, are about to go in the door. The bouncer actually puts his arm out and forcefully herds them back out the way, and they grumble like anything, and the other one sort of like gestures you in and sort of like say, Mr. Bartleby, Mr. Hengist, we're honoured for that you will frequent the Sniffling Boar tonight. And you get this feeling, both of you, that it's just like a spiel. And the first thing, and I'll just give this brief description before we start. You go into the Sniffling Boar. The Sniffling Boar is as full, but not as rowdy. Okay, it seems to be a lot more of a genteel approach. It almost like looks like a restaurant rather than a tavern. And you sort of like go in, and if you remember, the stairs go straight up out after the door, opposite the door. And as you walk in, you glance up at the stairs, and at the top of the stairs, if you remember, there's Kristoff's door to his office. And you can see on the stairs that there's 3 people. There's Kristoff stood with the back to his door. Harmony Lee stood opposite, and the rotund cook is halfway, just like a couple of steps down. Seems to be talking. Just before we break, just both of you just do a perception roll for me, please. Oh, Hengist, here's it.
Perception. Oh no, I've got 1 out of 2. Sorry.
Hengist, you actually hear this. Mr. Pickles, are you looking it or leaving it?
I think I'll give a little luck. Just
Okay.
Yeah.
just cause may as well. That'd be another roll. Pow.
Oh,
You had to beat my roll by 1, didn't you? You had to do it.
I'm sorry, Longshanks.
Okay then. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information after the break, but they seem to be discussing some kind of scenario, some kind of event that is causing all 3 of them, but particularly Kristoff, some kind of concern. And we'll leave it like that, and we will just take our brief 10-minute break. So we'll be back in here at 43 minutes past the hour, or whatever hour it is, 43, 10 minutes from now. And when we come back, hopefully we'll be able to see what's happening in the Sniffling Boar and possibly finishing the adventure. If not, it'll be next week. That'll be it. So yeah, we'll have a quick 10-minute break. Go away, stretch your leg, grab some snacks, grab some more alcohol or drinks, but not if it's just past midday. Then don't do that. Everybody. Okay, we'll see you back here in precisely 10 minutes. See you soon. Just as we go live, Hasra, come back.
Fine, you're still wearing trousers. Ready back. You're still wearing trousers, it's okay.
Hasra, just do us a favour. Please do not stand up.
It's fine.
Okay, well, you're not actually allowed to expose your midriff on Twitch. That is part of their terms and conditions.
I can't, depending on how much beer I drink, I can't help that sometimes.
Yeah.
You only have to censor it for the YouTube.
Yeah, when I go for my coffee, I just watch a bit of telly just to sort of like unwind from the pressures. And there was, is it Joe Pascali? Is that right?
Oh God, I hate him.
He was on the chase, but this chase when they're all up there. And the first question was, what do you call it when a group of sharks get so excited with food that they start to attack each other? And he guessed right that it was feeding frenzy. And then he turned to the guy who does it. I forget what his name is. What's the guy who does?
Bradley Walsh.
Yeah. And turns to him and says, did you know that sharks will only attack you when you're wet? I thought that was so funny. And then do you want to know what my head was doing then? It was saying, so if you were in a wetsuit and none of your skin...
It's dry, you're fine.
Anyway, so Hengist and Bartleby, you've just gone into the room and there seems to be an altercation or something happening at the top of the stairs. Down in the bottom of the Sniffling Boar, there's lots of activity going on. But yeah, this seems to be happening up at the top. And it's almost like everything's going and Kristoff is sort of like talking to people. And then all of a sudden he stops. And he stops the talking and the other people are still talking. And then he sort of like looks down and smiles at you and sort of like gently moves the cook to one side so he can get down the stairs. And Harmony Lee sort of like looks weirdly at him and then sort of like sees, and he comes down and he sort of like, gentlemen, it's absolutely fantastic to see you. Thank you for gracing my humble establishment.
Well, thank you for giving word to allow us in. I'm afraid we have a situation.
You are permanently very important people. You will gain instant access no matter when you want it.
That's very kind of you, Kristoff. It's most appreciated.
Kindness oozes from my pores.
Indeed. We were hoping to take you up on your offer to peruse your library, perhaps pick your mind on a problem we're having.
Both of you roll an insight roll. You pick something up. There's just a slight glance up at the conversation that was happening, but also a moment, a flutter of panic. And you've never seen Kristoff panicked ever. He just sort of like looks up. You say about the library and he sort of like looks up and then looks down and says, how long have you known?
About the nightmares?
About the library.
You brought us up there like the other night.
Oh.
You invited us for dinner and we had dinner in your chambers and you pointed out the library.
My office.
Well, I had a lot of books for an office,
yes.
But I guess it could be.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was quite taken back. I thought you meant a different library. What is it that you may be looking for?
You have an additional library on top of that? I'm sorry. You might. I'm really hoping that you might have something on the topic that we're searching for. Perhaps we can go up to somewhere quieter than down here?
Yes, and he's sort of like he's quite taken back. You've never seen Kristoff taken back, and it seems that when you mentioned this word library, it almost like caught him off guard, as if he wasn't expecting you to even use that word or know that he had a library. And he sort of like says, yes, come up to my office, and he sort of like passes the cook at the as you go up, and you see that she's been crying, and she sort of like has a piece of tea towel or linen that she's dabbing her face with, and he says, "Stay in the kitchen, my dear. Stay in the kitchen." And you notice that she goes, "Yes, I will stay in the kitchen." And he sort of like, once he said that, he turns to you and says, "Sorry about that." And sort of like leads you up. And he goes over to the door, and there seems to be no key or nothing barring the door. And he literally just pushes it. And if you remember, it's quite a heavy door. And he just seems to push it, and there's no click or anything like that. It just seems that it was shut, as if you could just push it open. He sort of like moves it open, and he sort of like gestures you inside, and then turns to Harmony and says, "Make sure no one goes down, Harmony." "Oh, yes, Kristoff." And she sort of like goes down, and he sort of like closes the door behind him and sort of like rests with his back against the door and says, My library, it is at your disposal."
We haven't caught you at a bad time, have we?
"Oh, there is some one of the kitchen boys has gone missing. He was sent on an errand, and he has not returned."
He's probably just, young boys of that age. He's probably just seen something he likes, or he'll turn up. He may have just got distracted.
"Let's hope so, Mr. Hengist. Let's hope so. Was there a particular book that you wanted in particular, Mr. Bartleby?"
Yeah. I was looking for information on nightmares, specifically those caused by perhaps a Dream Stalker.
These books are recipes and to do with producing the finest quality delicacies that I've collected via my travels. A Dream Stalker, you say? And at that point, there seems to be two switches in his conversation. One very, "This is where I live," and then also a Dream Stalker, you say?
Indeed. I'd call it my fancies from my childhood, but I do love good monster tales. And
Oh no, a Dream Stalker is very real, very real. And he seems to be almost like distracted about something, as if something else is going on in his mind. And then he seems to be quiet for a moment, and then he comes back to you and says, I think it's about time I am slightly honest with you. Please.
Amriel rewards honesty.
Please take a seat." And unlike Sylvester's room, there is chairs for you all. And he sort of like sits down, and he sort of like intertwines his fingers for some time, pondering, thinking. And you're just about to sort of like go, "Well?" And he says, "I have not been entirely honest with you, my friends. There is something about me, something that I am, that you need to be aware of. But hopefully this will not, how can I say it, jeopardize our relationship."
Willing to listen.
"You seem very accepting people."
We have come across all sorts in the year and years that I've been in Lindo.
and accepted them quite willingly and openly, I hope.
Well, as willingly and openly as they have accepted me, a foreigner, into their city and into their noble house. So yes.
And you have welcomed me here, and the people of Lindo, and especially of your Noble Hill clientele, have been extremely helpful in raising my business. But I feel I have to come clean with you. My reason for returning to this property, well, the business is but a cover.
For what, Kristoff?
For the library.
Some sort of laundering situation?
There's a library underneath the bar?
Yes, that was the reason I bought this establishment at a very, very high price. I reassure you that the person I bought it off was quite, well, shall we say, demanding on the price that I had to pay. But it was this building that I had to have, mainly because of what lies through the trapdoor in the kitchen.
What information lies in this library that you desire so much?
You are members of brotherhoods, of orders, I assume.
I'm from the Church of Amriel. That is my brotherhood, I suppose.
And I am a member of the noble house Glotwit and currently sworn to Lady Harmony.
Yes, she is a nice lady. I think she has feelings for myself. However, I too was once a member of an order. However, I decided to leave it and come back to this place where one of the order's long-lost libraries lie.
Which order did you say you were from?
I think it's more your worth. It's not worth you actually knowing that, Mr. Bartleby. I would worry that things that are going incorrect at the moment would maybe spread and you may be in great danger. Enough to say that the order I was a member of does not take kindly to people vacating it.
We have come across a number of different orders, some of which were nefarious in nature, but we have survived all those encounters.
And maybe at a later time we can sit and discuss it more over a fine wine, a port, or even a cognac. But today I am nervous. I think this is a time to be truthful with you, my friends. And he emphasizes the word friends.
Do share then. Be honest with us.
My mother is dying. And the order for which I belong to refused to actually help. I know they have the power, but they say it is lost. However, I believe I have found it. It's an ancient power, a power that really goes beyond the power of the orders here, or even, and I beg your apologies, Mr. Bartleby, the church itself. It's a power that has, an order that has the power to heal and maybe allow my mother to survive. And the secret to that power is below this inn, and hence my reason for buying it.
And I suppose a reason for a dash of secrecy as well. You wouldn't want knowledge of your acquisition getting out.
Precisely. I do not wish people to know that I am slowly digging deeper into the ground below Lindo, hopefully not causing any significant subsidence in the various areas.
But I get the feeling that you may have accidentally dislodged something. You know what? You know why I'm here, don't you? About the nightmares?
Yes, I have been blessed. I have not. I am busy most of the night. As you can imagine, I take my rest through the day, and I have been blessed not to have them. But various people have spoken to them, and I fear that I have, how can one say it, disturbed something. My order is a vengeful order. I fear it left something guarding, securing the area. However, recently my excavations have brought us closer and closer to the library, and now we are but a few feet away from it. And I fear that we have awoken something that is actually terrorizing Lindo.
And you think it might be a Dream Stalker as well?
My order have been known to summon these foul beasts and send them to revenge people who have done them wrong. I don't feel that it has been sent to me. They do not know where I am. I am sure of that. But I think it was left in the library, guarding it. And my excavation has disturbed it.
How do we go about defeating it?
You are my friends.
Indeed.
Definitely for my part.
You wish to help the people of Lindo?
Without hesitation.
I am but an innkeeper. I do not possess any knowledge of the blade or the power of spells or magic. My only small training with a rapier was in my father's office when we used to spar when I was 6. I think I only beat him through the kindness of his heart, rather than any other prowess that I possess. Maybe since I've helped you in the past with, and he sort of like gestures out, with the Hairy Hobgoblin, maybe you could return a favour to me and at the same time possibly save the whole of Lindo.
Well, this creature does need to be got rid of for the greater good of Lindo.
It is agreed then. Would you like me to take you down there?
Yes, but and acknowledging you're not a warrior, a fighter, we should get our comrades. We have a very powerful sorcerer that can be of help, and stealthiest
and Cyrus
brave warrior.
And Cyrus could come along as well if he's around. Melanie's probably just down in the bar. You might be able to just pick her up.
He's being a terrible, terrible sorceress, that Melanie.
Kristoff Selsley says, I need to investigate what has happened in the kitchen. I know that the trapdoor is on plain view. People might have seen it as they walked through the kitchen on several times, but I still need to see what has gone on. Please hurry back, and hopefully we can put an end to this.
Yes, indeed. To save all of Lindo.
Da-da-da-da.
Some of Lindo.
Charge, guys!
Yeah, we'll scamper back to the Hairy Hobgoblin.
Yeah, and yeah. So when you arrive there, you Cyrus.
We are drunk.
Yeah, that is.
They were saying about the things that came out of the dreams and did things strangely.
Or how nasty do I feel at this present moment in time?
Beautiful, beautiful butterfly.
Okay.
Hasra, why are you on the floor?
Yeah, I'm not on the floor, on the ceiling. Look, I'm flying.
So yes, what would you
Hasra's
like
just making
to?
sawdust angels in the
Yeah.
middle of the floor of the Hairy Hobgoblin?
With some occasional carrot.
Yeah.
What would you like to? What's going to be the plan of action?
Well, Hasra, during our conversation with Bartleby and Hengist, will wants to slip in and casually say at some point. So, did you find out how he healed Harmony? How he cured Harmony Lee?
That was the priest of Amriel that cured Harmony Lee.
Mm.
Not Kristoff.
Was it?
Kristoff wasn't there.
Sorry.
We were, and this rather portly, very important priest of Amriel arrived with all of his attendants and whisked away into Harmony Lee's chamber, and the next time we saw her, she was fine.
Wonderful. That's amazing.
The powers of Amriel are great.
Did you try to suck your blood?
I wonder what you were going to say.
was that part of your nightmare, Hasra?
He's a night ghoul.
Can Hengist make an insight roll into Hasra? Is he drunk?
I think Cyrus is more likely to be drunk than anything. So do roll your willpower check. Hasra,
Both of us, or
no,
me?
Hasra doesn't have an alcohol
Hasra
problem.
doesn't drink. No. He would have been nursing the same drink all the way through the conversations he's been having.
Oh, how boring.
When it gets to drugs, when it comes to drugs, then Hasra would be sniffing everything.
No.
Then mushrooms look good.
And I think, Cyrus, you probably have every now and again you sort of like been going for your drink again, and every now and again Hasra's been carry on talking, seeing you just putting his hand on the goblet, you know, as if he's your wingman, and he's sort of like keeping you
Keep me just a little bit more on my feet.
yeah.
That's right. You never fall asleep drunk in the wilderness. Let's put it that way.
So
We're in a tavern.
so Hengist and
Different
Bartleby.
type of wilderness.
Wilderness, yes.
Hengist and Bartleby, what's going to be the plan?
Bartleby, go for it, Hengist.
No, Hengist was going to go in as soon as he locates Hasra and Cyrus. He'll sit down on the same table as them and say, "We found it. We know where its lair is."
And Bartleby will ramble a bunch, filling you in mostly on what we heard, barring a lot of the personal whatnots that he shared.
So what's the plan? Does it rhyme with murmuring down the Mavern?
No,
I had to, so that's burning down the tavern.
Awesome. But you said you have found it. What have you found?
The creature that is creating the nightmares.
Kristoff,
Know where
yes.
it is. No, not Kristoff.
What do you mean?
Kristoff isn't creating the nightmares. Well, He may have caused the nightmares to be created, but he
I told
didn't
you.
actually. It's not actually him. He's awakened the creature which is causing the nightmares.
And who told you this?
Kristoff.
Kristoff did, but this is
very
this is
convenient. Very
Mm.
convenient. The guy we expected to be the bad guy in the situation tells
So-
you he's not the bad guy.
So maybe if I step back and I will open my ears to what you say. Tell me, what has he done to awaken this
He has
demon?
dug too greedily and too deep. No, I'm joking. That's Lord of the Rings.
Never.
Don't want to get in with strikes for that. No, he's dug into the lair of the creature looking for something else.
Where
It
is
is
his
guarding.
lair? Where is his lair? Is it out of the
Below,
city?
right?
It's
some
below
kind of
the city.
library. He's certain. I'm certain he is of one of the sorcery orders or X
Formerly.
order.
No, but
Charlatans.
where
Cyrus,
has he
you've
been
seen
digging?
him.
Because we've been looking around. We've checked the sewers. We've checked all. Where has he been digging?
Underneath the tavern.
What do you mean underneath the tavern?
He thinks
Underneath the
there's some
tavern.
library down there.
There-
Then
There are many caves below the levels of Lindo.
Yeah,
As I myself have crawled through some of them below this very tavern.
But how would
Hasra.
you have gotten through there?
Walking?
Oh,
Down?
I'm trying. I want to
Climbing
say
down?
trapdoor.
he did
No,
mention
okay.
trapdoor.
That trapdoor. Sorry.
You probably went
No.
through that
Hasra.
trapdoor that Hasra walked backwards and
And,
forwards
I saw
from.
the trapdoor.
And I kept saying,
Trapdoor.
there's a trapdoor, Cyrus, and the door out. I go out the door. Are you leaving the trapdoor then? Yes, I'm just leaving it. It's open. Do you want to go down? No, I'm just... Okay, then that's...
No, nothing ever good came out going down a trapdoor.
You never opened that trapdoor.
It was open. It was literally open.
So
Yeah.
we need to prepare ourselves and head on over.
Darth
And
is as
destroy.
but yes, Hasra, I remember the trapdoor.
Trapdoor.
Super perceptive. you see the but don't understand it.
You see, but do not look.
Well, they don't have trapdoors in the forest, so
No, you don't.
That's true.
Well, you think
You
because
have
it's
holes,
trap
you
door,
put-
it's gonna be a trap. So
Yeah, via the name. Listen to the literal.
that's the door to the trap. While this is the back door, so you go out there to the back. It's different. So it's also a name, right? All right, let's do it. Let's get ready. I'll take a few more drinks. Kind of limber me up. Should be good though.
Okay, then you head back over to the Sniffling Boar, and Kristoff and Harmony Lee meet you at the actual doorway, just inside the inn, and he sort of like.
And we have our weapons and everything though.
I presume you were going to.
Okay,
have your
okay, I was
weapon.
making sure.
Yeah.
all right.
And he says, the guard has not been seen for some time. I've ordered nobody to go down. We thought we would wait for you. Do come this way. Harmony, please entertain our guests. And she goes, oh, yes. And she sort of like says, be safe, Kristoff. Don't worry, my dear. I will be fine. I have these men to protect me. Please protect him and bring him back.
of course, my lady.
And you sort of like go down, and the kitchen's in a little bit of disarray. Hasra, the last time you saw it, it was very organised and very working like clockwork.
Militaristic, I would say.
Yeah, and now it's not. And you also notice that as you taken to the trapdoor, there's a whole load of crates piled up that were not in the kitchen before at all. And Kristoff points to a ladder that you saw before, Hasra, and you sort of like go down, and it doesn't seem to be going down into a cave at all. It seems to be going down into the sewer system. And the first thing you notice, Hasra, is that there's a barge, a raft, just in the sewer water. and you can see that there's a punting pole on it.
Not again.
And it's just there. It seems to be tied up to a hook. And it just seems to be, bobbing there. But you have seen this, and you do sort of like think, maybe you were correct, and the crates that are upstairs might have actually
via the
yes, or they were here, and Kristoff has shifted them, and he sort of like takes you down into the sewers, and he says, he turns to you and both, and everyone says, please excuse the dreadful stench down here, and he moves, and there's several things that you notice quite quickly. They've handed you 2 lanterns that you can have, but you notice that he walks ahead of you without any light at all. He seems to be very confident walking, and he leads you further along the tunnel. Generally, you think you're going from where you are now. You're going slightly northward, okay. And after a while, he stops almost like abruptly, and there's no sideways tunnels or anything. It's just a straight sewer, rectangular sewer tunnel. And he stops and sort of like gestures to one side. And you notice that in the side of the sewer wall, it's been knocked out. The sewer wall has been either hammered. Cyrus, it doesn't look like it's been blasted. If it was blasted, it would have been blasted inwards. It looks like it's been taken apart. And you notice that there's stones and bricks piled up on the walkway either side. And there's most of you can walk down without stooping. Anybody who's tall and manly, like you, Hengist, is just like have to move slightly.
Margie stoops.
Yeah, if you're sort of like 6 foot plus, then you're stooping a bit, and even Kristoff is. And he only sort of like steps in and sort of like gestures down the corridor and says, we found the hidden entrance along there. We didn't break into the room. However, I did leave a guard, one of the young kitchen boys, just to make sure. He did have a lantern with him. And you also like look down, you shield your own lanterns, but there seems to be no light coming from down the corridor.
Hasra is quite intrigued about Kristoff. How is it you can see perfectly down here? You don't need a lantern?
I know this place like the back of my hand. I've been coming down here for some time. It is not hard to navigate.
It's so dark down here, you can't even see the back of your hand.
I saw your light was illuminating me from behind. It gave me enough light. Just out of interest, who's carrying the lanterns?
We left them behind.
In which case, what you see now on the map is what you see. You are now on the map.
I do want to do some things before we enter, including making my glaive its own lantern.
Yeah, so this skill roll will be fine. It's whether or not if you crit it, you won't have any magic points lost. And if you fumble, you'll have double. But yes, just roll your focus.
It's not just that one I want to roll as well. I will roll that though. But
yeah, that's fine. So that gives you some. Is it like a basic torch that you have on there?
Yeah, it would give the campfire amount of light. This is as. The other two things I want to do. Where did I go? There we go. I want to. I was gonna. If we can just like stick around here for a second, I'm going to do damage resist on all of us, and then bypass armor on my weapon, Hengist's weapon and
Okay.
Bartleby's club.
So
and Mr. Pickles' wit. No.
So this is going to take time now. So that's absolutely fine. But your rolls now will be real rolls. So
All right.
if you succeed, so tell me which one you're doing first, because this will be sorcery spells, won't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do damage resist first.
Okay. So it'll be your invocation spell that's coming off. How many people are you doing it on?
All 4 of us.
So that'll be one shaping point, and to actually cast it, won't it? And then you're doing it on 4, so that'll be 3 more on top of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay then. So and your spell points for that will be. Have you roll the roll? All right.
All right. I'm gonna use my magic point at this point to switch that around.
Okay, yeah, and
Or my luck point, not magic point, luck point.
yeah. So that'd be absolutely fine. Plus, so it's 1 magic point plus 1 additional point per spell component modified. So that one would have been, you could leave it as touch. That wouldn't be a problem, but you are modifying it by targets. Are you changing the magnitude or not? Remember, the magnitude is how powerful it is to be dispelled.
I think of what we're gonna go against is gonna have a similar dispelment ability. No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I need to do that.
So it'll be a magnitude of 1. So any
is the max intensity the 7? Is that going to is that another variable or another component?
it's magnitude is another component.
Yeah.
So basically, at basic level, it's 1.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go up to using 10 magic points. That would take it up to 11. Magnitude of 11. So to give you an idea, what's the intensities of, what's your spells at?
7. Or my max intensity is 7. So sorry.
Yeah. So say for example, if you cast 7 as an intensity spell and your spell has 1, it's going to wipe it out.
Got it.
So I think when Bartleby casts, what's your intensity and magnitude? I think it's both the same as your.
That one doesn't show it. I thought that was going to show. My intensity and magnitude are both 10s. I don't get to change it.
No, yeah. So say for example, if your magnitude was 1 and Bartleby cast a dispel magic spell, his magnitude would be 10, so yours would just be dispelled by itself. So it's whether or not you want to increase it or not.
Yeah. So I guess the 4 components would be the casting spell, the amount of people, the 4 altogether, bring the intensity to 7, so it'll be 7 points of armor, and then also magnituding to 7.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So yeah. So just you've only got 7 shaping points. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how many people are you doing it on? All 4 of you, or 3 of them? So say for example you do it on 4 people. Mm-hmm. That will take 3 of your shaping points up. 4 people will take 3 of your shaping points up. So you'll only have 4 left. Using all of those, you will be able to give it a magnitude of 5 maximum, and that will take all your shaping points up. To do a maximum magnitude of 7, you would need to take 6 points up.
Got it.
And in which case, you can only apply it for 2 targets.
And is the amount of armor that's bestowed upon them, is that affected by shaping points?
That's affected due to the intensity of the spell, and yours is that's 1/10.
Back to 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as your invocation, once it hits 65, or 66, it'll start changing again. No, once it hits 70, it'll change because we always round up. So you've
Yeah, I will in this case get all of us protected and then do the remainder of the shaping points towards the.
Okay then. So you're shaping. So you're going to take
power.
3 shaping points to give. Is this which one is this? This is.
This is damage resist.
Damage resist. Okay then. So you'll take 3 shaping points to do the 4 targets. So you'll have 4 left. So that'll give you a magnitude of 5. Okay, and then it'll cost you 1 point. Plus you're changing the magnitude, that'll be another point. Plus you're changing the targets, that'll be another point. So that'll cost you 3 points, 3 magic points to cast.
Okay, which I'm cool with that.
Okay,
and
so
then the second one.
Hang on. So have we done an evocation roll?
Yeah, I did. Remember, I switched it. It was a 90, and I.
Is that your point. Is Order of Phoenix? That looks.
That's my invocation. That's my invocation roll. That's not my passion roll.
Right. So. Yeah. So that's your invocation. So that one's come off. That's not a problem. So everybody, you remember people. How many damage resist points does it give people?
7.
Okay, so people remember that you got 7 points of damage resist.
Yeah. It doesn't stack onto their current amount of armor.
Correct.
So yeah, so keep that in mind. But whatever, it's something. And then on my weapon, Hasra's weapon and Hengist's weapon, I'm going to roll bypass armor. Okay,
then. So are you going to change the magnitude of that?
Yeah, it's going to be 1 additional magnitude to that because I'm only doing it on 3 people.
So 3 people, that'll be 2 shaping points. Okay, and then what do you want to take the magnitude up to? You'll actually have 5 points left, so you can take up to 6 if you wish.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay then. So you can cast that. Roll your invocation roll again. Yeah, so that will be another 3 magic points gone. So you'll have 3 for the first one, and then 3 for the second one, and your shove from last time, etc. So just
getting pretty low.
So just to remind you, your weapons people, the spell allows the weapon to ignore the number of armor points equal to the spell's intensity. So it is, you can go through 7 points of armor. That's what you can actually go through. So your damage will not be reduced at all. Brilliant. Okay then. So who's carrying the lanterns?
Bartleby has one.
Hasra will have one as well because he does normally carry a lantern when he's walking with his spear.
Brilliant.
And then I will have
conversation.
I have my glaive as well.
So can you now see the passageway?
Not yet. Not on my screen at least.
All right, let's just make sure that I've got this on.
Oh, there we go. There's something.
Can I make sure this ignore armor thing's working and put my spear through Hengist's chest?
Right.
I was about to say Hengist would parry that, but then I suddenly realised, hang on a moment, you've got your minus however many on your skill roll as well.
Yeah.
So, can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yes.
So, you notice that where you actually are at the moment, that is not the entrance. The entrance goes down some way, and I've stopped you now because your lanterns or whatever are picking up something. You can just see the ring of it, yeah? Yeah. And
I thought that was Kristoff.
No, it's not. There seems to be a young boy ahead, and he stood up, and from where you're saying, he's got his back to you, and he seems to be swaying like this. His hands are loose down by his side. You do notice that there's a lantern that has been almost like dropped. It's not set up, it's on its side. You figure that the oil or whatever has put it out. You can also see on the floor there's a small like linen bag or a piece of tablecloth wrapped up that you can see is open, and it has some kind of bread in there, and there's a water skin nearby. But this lad, probably about 12, 13, is actually stood up. Arms are loosely down by his side, and he's got his back to you. And like I say, he's swaying gently from side to side.
Hengist, if I hold the lantern up, would you go see if the boy's okay?
Yeah, do. Of course.
Sure.
Hengist will carefully approach the boy, and then carefully put his hand on the boy's shoulder and say, "Are you okay, boy? You've been missed."
Brave.
Yeah.
Brave.
So you go up to him, and you get closer and closer, and you sort of like.
Hengist isn't sneaking, by the way. He's just walking.
Yeah,
So
and
you can hear his armor
Hengist can't
clinking.
sneak.
He
You hear his armor clinking. You hear his sword like whacking against his leg.
yeah, and
as he
the
walks
boy seems to be completely and utterly. He doesn't flinch or turn around or anything. He just seems to sway and sway. And as you get closer and closer and closer to him, the light is not sort of like seeing beyond where it is at the moment, because you don't actually, Hasra or Bartleby, you would have to step forward to reveal the whole situation. And if you move forward,
Step forward.
Bartleby can as well. If
Yeah, Bartleby would move forward to about equal where Hasra is. Like that.
Okay then, and it's only when the lanterns flood the light that you notice just slightly beyond the boy, there seems to be like a rock face, but it looks like it's brickwork, as if they've come towards something. And you notice that there's a single brick that has been dislodged, and it's actually been dislodged from the inside out. And through this gap, this brick-sized gap, seems to be a tentacle. And it seems to have almost like come out, and it looks like it's actually attached to the boy's forehead. And you can see from where you are that the boy is being actually kept up by this tentacle that's attached to his head. And you sort of like tap him on his shoulder and look around, and you notice that his eyes are completely rolled back into his skull, and his mouth's open. And you suddenly realize that the tentacle is not actually attached to the boy's forehead. It's been inserted into the boy's forehead, and it seems to be holding him up. So this tentacle is still writhing backwards and forwards, and that's causing the undulation. And now you can see, Hengist, that there's blood round it, and it's obviously almost as if it's been pierced by this tentacle, and then it's just the boy's literally just hanging there, connected to it.
Hasra will drop to his knees and say, "All hail the mighty Cthulhu!"
Hengist will remove his hand from the boy's shoulder. He's going to turn round to look at them, to make sure that the rest of the group, to make sure everyone's seen it, and then he's going to carefully draw his sword.
Yeah, everybody hears a.
Really should put some oil on that.
Ding.
It's metal on metal. It's got a metal throat to the scabbard. And then, without hesitation, he'll try and cut the tentacle in half.
Okay then. So you don't need to roll a hit roll for this, because it's not sort of like he can't essentially evade or anything like that. But I do need you to do some damage for me.
Yeah.
Can I just say, which way you cut it in half? You cut it lengthways?
You pedantic man, Medivac. You pedantic man. Don't split your hairs.
I just had a giggle about that. Sorry.
You're going to measure it out first, so that way you get right in the center.
No. He's going to cut it off near to the boy, but without danger of hitting the boy in the swing. My only question in Wills is, has he got enough head height to cut it two-handed, or can he only use one hand on the sword blade, bearing in mind the swing?
It's absolutely fine. I would just do your normal damage, and you could probably use it 1.5, and that's not going to be an issue at this point. Yeah.
8 points of damage.
So the 7 bypass armor actually takes it through not hardened armor, but the rubbery outside layer of this tentacle. And you slice down it, and you see the magic from Cyrus's spell sort of like burst out. I need to look into this, because I think your spells need to be concentrated on.
Is that true? Or is it something I can...
The spell active effects only function so long as the character specifically concentrates on it. During this time, the sorcerer is usually restricted to moving maximum of walking space and performing free or reactive actions. When necessary, use common sense. A passive element of the spell continue running without the need to concentrate. So it's whether or not it says it's passive or not. And so what I'm not going to I'm not going to start doing anything at the moment. I'm just going to restrict. I'm going to put it for further discussion later on, and then that's it.
Okay.
So so you whack through this tentacle, and the first thing that you notice is that the bypass armor actually slices through very nicely the tentacle. The boy drops lifeless to the floor, and the part of the tentacle that's still in it sort of like starts to whip around like that, and there's various liquids being shot from it, and then all of the tentacle that was attached to him suddenly withdraws itself into what appears to be an entrance that is in front of you now. Can you see where it blanks off?
Yeah.
That's where the brickwork is, and you can see that the tentacle that was through the hole goes and retracts back.
Can I use a prayer to perhaps get some more information here?
By all means.
A little bit of the Amriel's vision, which is what we're calling it now.
Nice.
Got a 20 out of 91.
Yeah, so you cast your witch sight, or your Amriel's vision, that seeks out magical magic in the area. This wall oozes magic. It's completely unfamiliar to you. It's definitely not divine magic. It's definitely something a lot darker. You know, it's almost like, when you look at it magically, it's almost like void-like, and it's none of this area is sort of like glowing. Or has a magic. It's purely the wall, the brick work in front of you. That's what is magical. It's not seeping out any other place at all.
I'll share that, of course, with my teammates. The brickwork itself is evil void magic, darkness.
Yeah.
The actual bricks themselves have the magic.
Yeah, but I'm not familiar enough. It's not divine magic. Maybe sorcery or spirit work.
I want to save that one. I really want to save my magic points because I have witch sight and I'm a sorcerer, so I can probably actually.
Hengist,
Can we not smash these bricks down to get through these
well,
floors?
it's interesting you say that, Hasra, because as you say that to Hengist and everybody sort of like listening to Bartleby, you hear on the brickwork, you hear as if something's been thrown at the wall. And you notice that one of the bricks near where the hole was, it's as if somebody has tried to chuck something at the hole and missed and hit the hole next to it.
This is just like this size of a brick, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a bit bigger than a modern day brick, yeah.
Okay.
Was it more like a flesh sound that hit?
Roll your insight, Hasra, because you'll probably be the one to know.
Insight. Oh, yeah, of course I'm there. Oh, I've got a tick not already. Let's get another tick. I'm not going to look at it. I saw this tentacle shoot through, so I'm assuming that what Hasra's thinking is another tentacle was trying to shoot through at us.
Okay.
But I don't know. No, yeah.
I think we should perhaps back up and figure out what we're going to do before it stabs one of us and
gibbering mouth or.
That's awesome.
As it comes, as you're discussing this, one of the bricks, Hengist, actually flies off. It actually flies in, and out the corner of your eye, you see this tentacle come flying through. It seems to bash through the brick, taking another brick out with it, and it's coming straight for you. After this, we'll be going into initiative, but let's do this first. Okay, so Hengist, you can either parry it or you can evade it. It's up to you.
Try and parry it.
Okay then.
I think that's going to be his first reaction.
Yeah, you bring your sword nicely up as this tentacle comes round, and you manage to put it in to its path, and it actually hits your sword, and you absorb all the damage from it, every single little bit. Roll your brawn skill for me, please. And it suddenly...
Best roll ever.
It is. And you suddenly find that it's actually attached to your sword.
Yeah.
And you feel it try to pull it away from you. And you grab onto your sword hilt as it gets pulled. So your brawn roll allowed you to keep hold of it. And now this tentacle is stuck to your sword. Okay, don't forget to click onto your tokens. Don't do anything yet because I haven't removed you. Okay, and click away.
Oh, be good. Oh.
Damn it.
Oh.
Not sexy.
Oh, Hengist did almost sexy.
And I got an 11.
Hengist almost got his highest possible roll.
On the plus side, you can work out when to run away.
Yeah, I could do that pretty effectively.
For once, the tank is actually going faster than the person he's meant to be tanking for.
Okay then. So
That's true.
Hengist, you still got your action points for this combat round now.
Okay,
So that
brilliant.
was from last time. Okay then. So this is round one, combat turn one, and the Dream Stalker or Mouther or whatever we want to call it, it sends out another whack of its tentacle at the wall. Yeah, and it takes out another brick. Hengist, you got one attached to your sword. There's another one coming out. What would you like to do? Just to let you know, you think if you try to parry this, it's not going to be a normal easy roll or a normal roll because this thing is
I'm dragging a tentacle with the blade.
If you're going to move out the way, and remember that cause you prone, to be prone.
I know.
And you will have to make a brawn roll to keep hold of your sword as well.
Damn it.
I'm assuming that Hasra couldn't interject and like put his spear in the way.
No.
No.
Hengist will attempt to parry.
Yeah, just 1 second. I just want to, because there is an interrupt skill, an interrupt roll, but I think it's more to, but we don't use it a lot. So let me just check because that might be possible.
I know I can interrupt with dismiss magic.
Yeah.
The reactive
Aren't
counter.
you special? Sorry.
Well, thank you. I wanted to be recognized, actually.
Oh,
Be gone,
Yeah,
evil being.
that's why I said interrupt can only be done by delaying characters only. Halts an opponent's turn from his decoration in order to take his own delay action. Assuming no change in technical solution, the opponent continues his turn. If unable to achieve his original declaration, the action point is wasted. An interrupt can be used against anyone passing close by the delaying character within weaponry. So it's a bit like
Brilliant. Yeah, because
what do you call it in D&D?
It's attack of opportunity.
Yeah. So that's so if you were delaying your action, you could then actually say, "I'll interrupt."
All the years we do this, it's like I always thought delaying your action was just you waste an action point. Dither.
Yeah. The only difference between dither, you cascade it around. Delaying it is that you're saying you are saving it for a defense. But this would also say it allows you to actually
do an offense.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. That's good to know.
So
I'm gonna use my point.
I can't use it now because my action point is I'm not in the turn, am I?
No, yeah, because we haven't. You would have to use a luck point to take you to the beginning, and you're not delaying at the moment, so you wouldn't be able to. So
Sorry.
I'm using my point of luck.
Right, okay then. So that takes it down to 79, and that will. Or are you going to re-roll it?
79, please.
79. So that.
Well, hard.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, hang on. It's hard, isn't it? I will have to re-roll it.
Well, it might be even. It might not be hard.
Harder.
It might be harder than that. That's all I said. That it would be harder.
It'll be harder. Yeah. So I'm going to re-roll it.
Okay. No, okay then.
That's 2 points better.
So it comes flying out, and you try desperately to move your sword to actually parry it, but this other tentacle attached to it doesn't actually allow you to get it in time, and it comes shooting out, and it. Was that?
I just realised I used the wrong dice roll, but I'm fine for it to stand. I've used the wrong.
And it hits you on your 19.
That is me noggin.
That's your noggin.
Right in the forehead.
Your noggin. Okay, so it comes flying out at you. And this is the damage of it. It's not a huge amount, so don't worry. It'll do 5 points of damage to your head. How much?
So that doesn't get to the 7 points of damage resist, but it wouldn't have done anything to the helmet. It would have stuck on the helmet.
It certainly is stuck on your helmet. So it's like bashes into it. So people behind you now see that Hengist has got a tentacle on one of his sword and another tentacle on his head. He's a bit like a puppet on a string. And Cyrus, you Hasra, you see all this, and it's down to you.
Hasra, knowing that his spear is not the best chopping weapon, he's going to try to gauge where these tentacles are coming from. He's going to brace his left foot forward, and he's going to throw his spear through the hole in the wall.
Go for it.
I hope this works.
Mr. Pickles' reaction. What the heck?
No, because I'm in front of Hasra again.
It's a fun time.
Throwing into combat.
I'm to your left. It's fine.
Yeah,
no, I'm
just
dead.
randomly in the air. That's when things go a little insane.
Trust me, I'm a
It's gonna happen
gynecologist.
one of these days, Medivac.
There we go. Have a 15 out of 107.
Yeah, and
got
you chuck it, and the first thing that you manage to do really well is to get the small area, because there's only sort of like two bricks there, and you sort of like throw it in there, and it flies in, and it goes into the darkness. And Cyrus, we're up to you.
I have a question
Yeah.
before I do anything. Is it possible to maintain my damage resist spell that's currently active and then do an additional damage resist spell and something else?
So, to be honest with you, I'm going to say at this point no, because I think we're playing the spell rules wrong in any case.
Got it. All right.
I think...
I don't want to poke the bear in this situation either.
Yeah. I think you can only... I need to check the rules, because normally Gulliver did it and he knew the rules and I just let him do it. So, but I will say at this point, I'm going to leave your two spells up at the moment, but I think you can only actually concentrate on one. You might be able to concentrate on more, but it's definitely up. So you can walk and defend yourself at the moment, and that's it.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to...
Which you're doing a really good job.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
So in that case, but the plan was I'm going to reinforce the armor of the wall.
Okay.
That way, it would be more difficult for him to break out. That was the plan, but I don't want to poke the bear. I would rather us be protected than the wall.
Okay.
So in that case, I wonder if I can move forward, probably in front of Bartleby, if he will allow me.
And there's no
Drop
room
down
there.
on the tentacles.
There's no room there because you can't get your token in there.
Get out of the way, Bartleby. No,
I'm just going to draw on the tentacles so you know where they are, because they sort of like come out like that.
Yeah. I can't really do anything until Bartleby moves out of the way.
Okay, so you can delay your reaction. Yeah.
I will delay my action.
Yeah. Okay, Hengist, what would you like to do? You're next. You're on 14.
Is there a way to try and get this tentacle off me, off either my head or my sword?
You can roll your brawn to get it off your sword.
That's what I'll do then.
If you want to get it off your helmet, you'll have to somehow evade.
No, I'll focus on getting it off my sword first, because then I can chop the one that's attacking my head off. Yeah,
so this will be a normal evade, which you succeed, and its original roll for your sword was, but I think it was 21. No, it wasn't. It was 68. So you try to pull your sword out the way, but even though you made it with a 31, my 68 is still higher, so it's still attached to it quite nicely. Bartleby,
Am I within touching distance of my friend Hengist?
you certainly look it.
Okay. Because
Hengist is quite steadfast.
Yeah, that's why I feel a little bit more confident. I want to give him the strength of Amriel's paladins.
Oh no!
A bit of this.
No, I'm joking. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Oh, no magic points.
Quick.
Hey, Cyrus, that's how to do it. That's how to do it. The prayer of Amriel. She is
blessed.
She is with you. She is with
Crazy.
you.
She's listening to all of the really low people on the ladder. But
So what's your power bar to be?
That's a 14.
So-
So 14 to your brawn right there.
14
A
to
14 to my strength.
yeah. Okay, and we're going back up to the top of the round. Just to let everybody know, I know we got 5 minutes more. So I won't go over, don't worry, but we can pick it up next time after this, after we've done the first combat man. Okay, so the first thing that the stalker is going to do is pull on its tentacles. Okay, so we are going to match brawn. You don't need to use an action point or anything, Hengist. It's just I'm trying to pull you. That's my attack. So you'll use a brawn roll just to oppose it, and that'll be it. Okay then. So my brawn.
You so got this.
Oh, touch wood.
Okay.
Oh,
68. You've used your luck. Well, it doesn't matter. Your luck point wouldn't do at all. 41 is a success, but these two tentacles of you wax it, and the rest of you just see Hengist all of a sudden be pulled towards the wall, and he goes bash up against.
You 14. You've only
I've got I normally, I have. So I've got a strength of 27 as a
41,
base.
isn't it?
So it's taken my brawn from 80 something up to 98, but I just rolled low.
Yeah, and I rolled high with 60. I was 10 below. And you see Hengist or like bash up against this board. The damage resistance absorbs the damage of it, but I am going to ask you to make another broad roll to see whether or not you leave go of your sword, because I judge that it's quite a big thing. And you sort of like whack up. No, it's against my brawn roll, remember. It's opposed against my brawn roll.
No.
Yeah.
Does that mean my helmet comes off as well?
Well, I'm assuming that it can't. I'm assuming that it's
Chin straps.
on.
Does that mean his head comes off?
Yeah, but you do sort of like get
Give it
bashed
ideas.
up against this wall, and you sort of like lose grip on your sword, and your sword's not going anywhere. The tentacle tries to get it through the hole, but it's a bit like a dog with a bone. It's going bang, bang.
The guard stopping it going through.
Bang, and it sort of like whacks it a few times, and then it actually detaches from it, and it falls to the ground. Hasra, you're up.
Hasra is going to draw his scimitar, and then, if it's possible, he wants to move to the wall to the left of. Can I fit there? To the left of.
You can't.
Hengist?
Hengist is full in up against the wall like this.
But how wide is this opening for the wall?
Exactly how it is there. Enough for Hengist.
Really? Oh my god. That's all I can do. I'll move to his left as much as I can get close to him.
Okay.
With my scimitar out.
Yeah. Cyrus, you're concentrating on this spell, and you feel bang, and you sort of like reinforce the spell at the last moment to absorb all the damage, and you feel it whack against your damage resist, but you manage to hold it. It's not an issue. You can walk if you want to go somewhere. You can move up if you wish.
Could I move up to just between him and Bartleby? You gonna allow that?
You can't move here. There's not enough room there,
Okay.
but you can go there if you wish.
I'll go. That's the only thing I can
That's
do.
absolutely fine. And Hengist.
Can I try and push free of the wall and the?
Yeah, by all means, roll your brawn. Now, that is a crit, which means that it overrides my 68 of the standard.
Bloody well.
Yeah, and Hengist sort of like pushes away from the wall, and you sort of like flip your head as if you're flipping your braided ponytail and plaits out the way, and you pull away and you sort of like stagger back. Your sword's on the floor, and this other tentacle retracts into the wall. And finally, Bartleby, and then we'll leave it. Bartleby, what would you like to do?
Get some 2v4. We can nail it on the wall. Fine.
I don't think there's anything Bartleby can.
You could calm Cyrus. You could calm Cyrus if
Cyrus can keep himself calm. And I think I was initially thinking using my shock prayer, but it has to be directed at living things. And looking in, I don't know if I can see the target, and I know vision's critical for spell casting, so I'm not sure I could even use that on whatever's in the room. Okay, that's good to know that my thinking was there. I think I'm gonna have to dither.
Okay,
here,
so
as my friends are trying to.
Okay, so we will,
because Hengist is getting up, so I couldn't. I would be slowing him down if I went there to try and help him up.
He stood up.
So yeah.
I just pushed away from the wall. I did a powerful push away from the wall.
And he's probably on, if he's got any action points. So when we come back to it next week, this is the longest adventure I've ever done in one bit. So when we come back next week, we'll start from this session. But what I'll do in the chat, in the Discord chat, I will say how many skill points, experience rolls you'll get if you're successful in this mission. And then, so be ready to do that. So if this takes a little bit less than the full gaming side, then we can then actually do the skill rolls as well and finish it off, so you have them both. Okay, thank you everybody for coming along. We left the party in a very difficult situation. They have located the Dream Stalker, which is inside, and at the moment it appears to have the upper hand. Will the party be successful in slaying it, or will they just build up the bricks and walk away and leave it?
Well, leaving Cyrus embedded behind.
Yeah. Yes. Or will they try to push Cyrus through the hole? He would go through.
I don't think he'd fit.
And then seal it afterward. We will see the next time we play. Until then, please look after yourself. Stay healthy and don't forget to stay positive. Till next time. See you later. Bye. Say goodbye. Bye.
Watch your hands. Watch your hands. Bye.
This
Bye.
video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved.